Now it's time for the show.
Do this look like work to you? Nah, looking at the lights like it's all of this for me. Everyone tonight is here, all of this for me. Hands in the air, yeah, all of this for me. Bottles over here, all of this for me, for me. All of this for me, for me. All of this for me, for me. Light fast, light flash, all of this for me, for me. All of this for me, for me.
Hello, hello, hello. Romo Sapiens. Happy New Year. Welcome to 2020. It's January. I almost said July.
Yeah, January.
This date thing's a mess. It's January 6th, 2020. It's the Rome Show, the first Rome Show in the new, is this called a decade? Yeah. I'm Andrew Romanella. My partner sits next to me. That's Rocky Romanella. Welcome back to the program, my man.
Hey, Happy New Year, Andrew. Great to be here.
It's exciting to be back. We have an exciting show for you today. Remember, you can always, as a Romo Sapien, get in on the show. Call in 609-807-2492. Our producer, Ruben, is here and ready to answer your calls. You can get in on the Facebook, facebook.com/The Rome Show 1. That's the number 1. Or facebook.com/Andrew.Romanella. We told you in 2020 we're trying to transition to the Rome Show Facebook.
Rome Show Facebook for sure.
So we're going to push it there. And then
Serious.
on Twitter at Wide World of Rome. Jam-packed show for you. I mean, we got the playoffs to dissect in the NFL.
Playoffs were crazy this weekend.
Playoffs were absolutely crazy,
Yeah.
which is super exciting. I just got back from Tennessee. the
Awesome.
ABCA Baseball Coaches Convention. So we're going to break that down a little bit.
Sports.
I know the fans were popping off on Instagram last night. So they're excited to get their opinions on the show. And then, of course, as you know, we have some Romalytics that I think are going to get people excited for that college football playoff coming up next week.
Yeah, I mean, just real quick, like the fact that it's next week is just ridiculous.
It's crazy, right?
It's absolutely ridiculous. I'm sorry.
Think about how long it's been since the regular season. In
I don't
college
even.
football ended.
What's the date next weekend?
January 13th.
13th.
Think about that. It's almost a month.
Yeah.
It's 2 weeks since the last game. We'll get into it later. Ladies and gentlemen, again, 609-807-2492. If you want your colorful opinion up here on the Rome Show. You got anything before I straight off the Rome here?
No, I'm excited though. A lot has happened in 2 weeks,
It has.
and a lot has happened in football.
Yeah, and there's been a lot since we've been on the air.
Yeah.
Christmas has happened. We're in a
Christmas.
new decade. Last time we were
New
on the air,
decade.
it was a decade ago.
That's haven't talked to you in a decade.
I haven't talked to you since the last decade, man.
Jeez.
It's crazy. It's crazy how time flies, though.
Yeah, no, you're right.
It feels like 2 weeks.
You're right. But the Winter Classic happened too.
Winter Classic happened, which I do maybe at some point would like your opinion on that. Because
Oh yeah, definitely.
I enjoyed it. I just don't know if I enjoyed the way the ice was and some of the stuff that came with
Why?
being
They
in
said
Texas.
the ice was great.
I thought they were complaining about the ice
They're always complaining about the ice. The ice was actually good.
for it being in Texas. Well,
Let's talk.
all right.
Later.
All right. Well, that can be
Yeah.
what comes off your Rome. What comes off my Rome today, ladies and gentlemen, to start the show, 7:04 here on Hamilton Radio, HamiltonRadio.com, Hamilton Radio Net Channel 2. I went to the ABCA convention in Tennessee, okay? And for those of you that may not know, ABCA stands for the American Baseball Coaches Association, okay? It's something that you voluntarily belong to, but it is like a baseball fraternity of coaching where year-round, via Twitter, via videos on the ABCA website, job postings, they are kind of the source for the baseball world. And they've grown and grown and grown. And the ABCA convention, which happens for 4 days, once a year, it's always the first weekend in January, massive amounts of coaches get together from all ages, Little League, high school, college, professional, all levels, and they get together for 4 days of learning in the game of baseball. It's learning, it's networking, it's all of these different things. So I just completed my 4th ABCA convention. And I would be lying to you, Rock, if I didn't tell you it's like literally my favorite 4 days of the year.
I bet.
No matter what location, I've been in Tennessee twice, I've been in Indianapolis, and I've been in Dallas.
That's cool.
And I've loved every single one of them. And I'm a weird person, and you know this. I love them more for the learning of the baseball and the drills and those conversations than necessarily the areas I got to embark on. That was fun too.
Yeah, it's
Not gonna lie.
the College Coaches Spring Break Association. That's really what it is.
Sponsoring coaches before their lives end when their season starts.
It's your last
Right.
4 days of freedom.
Right. But I love the learning. So I wanted to bring one thing back to the show. I could sit here and I could talk for an hour on the ABCA convention, but I have one thing I learned and one story you deserve to hear.
Let's
okay?
hear it.
What
Let's
do you
hear it.
want first?
No, end with the story for me.
Love what your head's at. Okay, so here's the deal. After sitting through about 10 hours worth of speaking and going through different expos and learning from different guys, I think the one thing that came to my mind, which has been consistent, every convention I've ever gone to, every speaker I've ever heard, every leadership book I've ever read, not that that's a lot, life is about learning and building relationships. That is my biggest takeaway. And I know this example is baseball, but it involves everything. You have to continually learn. Every guy stood up there. Harold Reynolds, Buck Showalter, Tim Corbin, head baseball coach at Vanderbilt, won the national championship last year. All of these guys stood up, and everything they talked about was learning and the importance of relationships. So to me, the biggest takeaway is life is about learning and building relationships. And I think, sports, there's no better example of that. And it's a great time to talk about that because you're in the midst of the playoffs in football. And that's when we really talk about this. Oh, what a great team win. This team fights. They battle. They're selfless. You hear all of these things talked about during this time of year. So that was my biggest takeaway. And I think that's why I love going to the convention because I'm like, man, this is a great opportunity to learn. I feel like every time I come back, I'm a better coach. And I think going into this year, because I feel like I understand now more than ever the learning and the importance of relationships, I feel like I'm so ready for a 2020 season than I ever have been in my 6-year coaching career.
No, that actually makes a lot of sense, right? Because you're down there and you don't even necessarily need to have a purpose when you're like having a conversation with one of the other coaches, but you're talking baseball. Right, and you're just talking the game, and you're talking about plays you saw in Major League Baseball. You're talking about games that you watched when you were on the road together. You're talking about players that you're both recruiting, and you're kind of going through the whole thing. And like you start sharing different ideas just in that, and that ends up being probably the stuff that you remember the most. I mean, obviously you learn a couple of things in the classroom settings, but like when you're just BSing and you're talking baseball, like there's probably nothing that you want more than just that.
And I don't know if this happened to you when you were in the hockey world or if this happens to you in the professional world where like you'll walk by guys having a convo and they're like in the middle of like the cafeteria or whatever and they're like in the baseball stand.
Yeah.
Like the guy's throwing the baseball and you're like, this is great. Nowhere else are you in the middle of like a Chili's and some dude's standing up and he's swinging a bat over the table, But like it's those unique conversations, those scenarios.
I'm telling him to put his hands right up here.
And he's got like the fork in his hand.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
like,
dude.
fingers wrapped around. So
No, I get it. And then there's people that when you're having these conversations, you actually hit it off with more than others, and then you find out you can be friendly, and then
and
you find out who you could work with too down the road.
Yes, and it's kind of crazy too because like you're sitting there, and I'm getting ready for a speaker. Right, this guy Jarek Jackson, awesome dude, and he's a part of my story. The head baseball coach at Southern University, and Coach Jackson talked about like turning a program around, and I sit down, I'm fired up, I'm ready to listen to this speech as I am for all of them, and this guy and his assistant coach, it looks like, or somebody with him sits down next to me. He's like, hey man, what's going on? Where are you from? I'm like, New Jersey. He's like, nice. I'm like, where are you from? He's like, Massachusetts. I'm like, oh, nice. Where you coach? He's like, Curry College. I'm like, oh, nice. He's like, where you coach? I'm like, Fairleigh Dickinson University, Florham. He's like, cool. And then like all of a sudden, like through connections, we realized we were at the same summer league cocktail party the night before. We knew some of the same people, and some guys that I coached at Stack were players for him in the summer.
Oh, there you go.
And out of 7,000 coaches, this dude sits next to me in the gigantic auditorium.
Dude, it's the proximity.
And that's what it is.
It's the law of proximity,
Right.
man.
And
Everything
now-
just comes to you.
All of a sudden, your players might have an opportunity. These players might have an opportunity, right? So it's pretty cool. And those are the other things that come out of it. So learning and relationships all the time. Learn every day and build those relationships.
I like it.
Last-
I like it. And
la-
you get to do it in the sports world.
Last thing off my Rome before we move forward here and we dive into the footy ball.
Oh, that's right.
All right. So I'm sitting there, and so now Coach Jackson starts talking, and he's turned Southern University around. And his first HBCU, they go to the 2019 regional, win I think it's the SWAC, Southern Western
Who
Athletic
cares?
Conference, something like that, conference championship, 9-39 to 34 and 24.
Pretty
So
good.
he starts his speech off by putting up a slide on the PowerPoint, and it says all of my coaching mentors, and it lists 15 or 20 guys, and smack dab in the middle of that list was Jeff Trundy.
There he is.
And I said to
That's the
myself,
guy right
and for
there.
the Romo Sapiens, the backstory there is, and I'll make it quick, Jeff Trundy was both mine and Rocky's high school baseball coach. He was also my advisor at the prep school that we went to, the Gunnery School. And Jeff is a life-changing person, definitely for me in my life, and he is a huge mentor to me and a big reason why I coach and why I love the game of baseball. So for me to be sitting there and this guy puts up the slide, and Jeff Trundy is one of the guys. So I told Dad, I'm going to email the guy. I'm like, yo, I just want you to know, if I ever speak at one of these conventions and I put that slide up, I'm probably I'm going to write the same name. To me, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's just a really cool connection. And for a guy in Trundy who is just one of the best dudes you'll ever meet.
Yeah, no, the connection itself is cool, right? Sat down next to you, had players in common,
Right.
and then you had that in common too. It's that's someone you're probably going to stay in touch with forever.
Ever, right.
Right.
So
So that
pretty
part's cool. And then just to see the name,
Yeah.
the man, the myth, the legend, Jeff Trundy. I mean, this is a person who's I'm talking top 3, top 1 coach, ever had, and obviously I only got to play for him for like 3 years, so. Wasn't that much time, but I mean, you just learned so much from this guy, and he had such an incredible demeanor.
Yes.
I always felt bad for the pitchers, after a game that they threw bad, because he wouldn't find things to just say that we sucked at. He would stand and would just be like, yeah. So listen, when it starts on the hill,
Yeah, yeah, just straight.
and if the guy's having a bad day, we're gonna suck.
Yeah. Just tell you how it is. That's all.
I was like, that sucks for that pitcher, man.
Yeah,
It's a
100%.
tough day for that guy.
Tough, yes. But the way he went about his business was the right way to go about his business.
yeah,
and that's
he
why
has-
so many people learn from him.
As a little notebook. Oh, you used to eat his red hots at the end of
Yeah.
the dugout. There?
I, to this day, carry a mini notebook in my back pocket when I coach because of him. And he'd just sit there, flip that little notebook,
Yeah.
and he'd have the whole game. I didn't see him pull out his pen once. He had the whole game written down.
He was the first in life coach that I had not watching on TV that didn't do first base or third base.
Yeah. That is hilarious. And so what Rocky means by that is he didn't coach any of the bases. He just sat in the dugout. the whole
Yeah, and he
time.
just commanded the game
Yes, he
from
did.
the bucket.
He did, yeah.
Yeah, it was great.
Gave the signs, everything. Coaching mentor, big time for me. Guy that matters. I don't know if I'm where I am today doing what I'm doing. I don't know how much of a person I am today without some of the stuff that Jeff Trundy did. And I think that's a good message to wrap this whole thing up here for a lot of people is if you have those mentors in your life, shoot them a text, thank them, remind them. I had a dad text me the other day. He said he was at the dinner with his son, and he said, I asked Billy who his favorite coach was of all time. He said, without hesitation, he said Romanella. And I said, Mr. Giles, that's the nicest thing anyone's ever texted me. And that's why you do it.
Yeah, it's cool.
And I think, so you have those people. First off, lean on them. Use their advice to your advantage because they're a mentor for a reason, and thank them because that's important to have in your life. That is straight off the Rome today, January 6th. Hard hitting straight off the Rome to start the 2020.
Yeah, but it was sports.
That's what we need.
It was sports.
So now we can dive into our NFL football review. I want you, the Romo Sapien, to call in at 609-807-2492 if you have some football, some colorful is the way I'll describe it because there were some colorful games this weekend. NFL football opinions. One thing I want to say, see the people chiming in on the Facebook. Mom noted that she believes you should learn 3 things every day.
It's a lot.
It is a lot.
Yeah, I can do that.
Something to strive for, though. I think that's pretty awesome. The people like learning and building relationships. Build relationships with us. Facebook at Wide World of Rome on Twitter.
There's not many people building relationships with the NFL referees.
No.
On
And,
Monday.
and I feel like a lot of them are in New Orleans.
I don't know why.
They hate the refs.
I don't know why. You know what? Don't be in that position. You can't tell me no.
All right.
No.
So
But
do you want to start there because a
we
lot
can.
happened this weekend.
Just remind me that I have a funny one for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Remind you that you got it. All right.
Yeah.
So let's start in New Orleans.
Let's start
Obviously,
there.
the Vikings beat the Saints in overtime. All right. Kirk Cousins and the Minnesota Vikings drive down in the Superdome Kirk Cousins connects with Kyle Rudolph. The touchdown is good. The Vikings advance. The Saints lose another heartbreaker for the third straight year. The issue is people believe Kyle Rudolph pushed off. I don't. I was watching it live. I watched it on the replay time. I agreed with it the whole way. No chance that was a push-off. Do you have a response to that? Because I have a Saints comment.
I mean, he extends the arm.
But so does everyone.
Yeah, no. Listen, I'm okay with the no
It's
call.
Jocelyn.
I'm okay with the no call because if I don't even know who the defender's name was, but if he actually didn't miss and grabbed on to where he was trying to
Right.
grab on, he would have been called for pass interference anyway.
Right. I agree with that 100%.
So
the Vikings win. My question to you is, what type of indictment are these losses continually for Sean Payton and Drew Brees?
well, the problem is that Taysom Hill was
Taysom.
I think it's Taysom.
Taysom. Who cares? Go.
Taysom Hill. No, we got to get it right. I mean, I'm trying to compliment the
I
guy.
think it's Taysom.
It's actually Taysom Hill with an M. You're right.
Yeah.
I think I can help you with this this pan situation. Anyways, Taysom Hill is the guy that was the pure difference maker for the Saints. I would actually argue that it wasn't Breeze or Sean Payton this year, but the reason they were probably a little bit more deadly on offense was because of that guy.
Well, and it's a lot of teams right now are doing this in the NFL. They have that X factor guy. They have a difference maker guy, a guy that can throw the football, he can run. Yeah, more times than not, he's at the quarterback position, and Taysom Hill is by trade, quote unquote, a quarterback. But he proved to do a whole lot more than that.
He was every position on offense this year.
And people don't realize this dude does the punts. He covers on kickoffs. Like, he's the prototypical high school football player in the NFL right now.
He is, yeah. You can't that's exactly it. He's playing high school football in the NFL. That's amazing. Yes,
it's
you're
exactly
right.
what it
I
is.
love that.
And next we see him on defense. I wouldn't be surprised.
But I mean, you can't. I mean, I think Teddy Bridgewater is a starting quarterback in New Orleans next year, and Taysom Hill plays the same role. Like, why wouldn't you do that?
Well, and so Drew Brees is a free agent. Tom Brady's a free agent. Do you believe that both of them don't end up in their current locations?
I think Brady stays if Belichick's not coaching the Giants. Stop.
We'll get to that later when we talk about the fans.
I don't know. I see Brady staying for some reason. Yeah. I see Drew. Actually, I would think Drew Brees is probably in the best shape
to stay, or as a quarterback in general.
I just think in athletic shape. Probably.
Well, I think that part of
more so than Tom Brady.
Part of it, I think, for Drew Brees is that, and we've talked about this, he doesn't play a full season this year. So he was fresher longer as an older dude.
But dude,
I mean,
he got fumbled, man, to lose the game.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. What type of indictment on it? It's been
a decade.
The game, but... It's been a decade since they've been in a Super Bowl. No, I mean, and
yeah, this is the 10 years.
And he's 8-8 in the playoffs. He's got more touchdowns than interceptions. He's got 34 touchdowns, I think, and 12 interceptions, something like that. He's got good numbers, right? And wins and losses aren't solely on the quarterback's shoulders, so it's kind of a skewed stat. But at the end of the day, they do a lot of winning. They don't do a lot of winning in the postseason.
Yeah, but
it's the same thing we say about Andy Reid.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's different.
Why?
Because they've actually
won one. Yeah, all right, that's fair. I'll take that. But it's not far off from a lot of other guys that we've seen.
No, it's not. It's not. I mean, you have a fair point. I think no one's going to eat their lunch as much as Brady, Manning, or Roethlisberger, for even that matter, or Andy Dalton should be retiring. What's the guy? Phillip Rivers should be retiring. I mean, all these guys.
Another one, yeah.
I mean, all these guys. They're in the same position.
Yeah.
But Drew Brees is they'll argue Drew Brees is better because everyone's just tired of Tom Brady winning.
But I do think Drew Brees right now would be the candidate to return to his current team of the two of them.
Yes.
I agree with that.
Yeah, most.
But I think why he's less likely is because Teddy Bridgewater is there. And you're really selling high on Taysom Hill, but as you say it out loud, you're starting to make me believe. I mean,
did you watch the game yesterday? He caught a touchdown pass as a wide receiver.
I know, and threw a 45-yard bomb.
I know. And then he truck sticked. He literally kept a drive alive in the fourth quarter. I mean, he's the reason they tied the game.
No, I agree with you. And I'm saying that as you say it out loud, I'm agreeing more with you.
So why wouldn't you have someone like Teddy Bridgewater take over the reins, slow the offense down, and make you a little bit less high flying, but manage a game? Because they don't manage games right now.
Yeah, but is that the quarterback's fault or is that the head coach's fault.
But Drew Brees has never been that type of guy.
That's true. Okay, that's a really good point. All right, that's a fair point. Well, I'm curious to see what happens in both locations. The other place I'm curious to see what happens with the quarterback position, but this team's still playing. It's the Tennessee Titans, right? Because part of this Tom Brady
Ryan Tannehill, baby.
part of this Tom Brady
7 for
discussion-
15, 61 QB rating yesterday.
Dude, listen, he did what he needed to do to win a playoff football game in New England.
Derrick Henry, baby. Let's go.
Most people can't do that.
I'm
did
loving it.
I love it too. What do you do with Ryan Tannehill? Is he showing you enough that if you're the Tennessee Titans, he's somebody that you say, man, we should re-sign this guy?
Yeah, you got it. You draft. You draft and let the guy sit behind Tannehill.
And what do you resign him for?
How much does Ryan Fitzpatrick make?
I think it's like 2 years and 20 mil or something.
That's what I'd
like
pay
that.
him. I'd pay him whatever Ryan Fitzpatrick makes. It's the exact same guy.
Do you think? No way.
Yes.
Ryan Fitzpatrick's never been in the playoffs.
Okay, but that's because he's always having to do this job around a crappy team.
Well, that's fair. Ryan
And he
Tannehill
almost
has some sustained
willed the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
True, and we willed the Dolphins to the 5 wins.
That's what I'm saying.
I would probably go 3 years, like 35 million.
I mean, Ryan Tannehill has Derrick Henry.
Yes, that's why it works.
Exactly.
So-
but Fitzpatrick has never had anyone like that.
No, I agree with you.
So
Why
they're the same person.
huge Fitzpatrick guy, huh?
No, I'm just saying Ryan Tannehill
But
is
you
the
know-
same as.
But you know what's really funny is the lady that was my Secret Santa, our business manager Terry, is the nicest person ever, and she bought me like a Miami Dolphins, like the greatest fan kit ever, like a shirt, a hoodie, a sweatshirt.
That's nice.
All this other stuff. So I went in to like give her a hug, and she's like, "You know why I like the Dolphins so much?" I'm like, "Well, no, why?" She's like, "I am a huge Ryan Fitzpatrick fan." I was like, "Really?" She's like, "I just love Ryan Fitzpatrick."
What?
She's like, "Yeah," because her point is he's a great team guy, and if he was ever on a good team, you'd realize how great he really could be. And I kind of understood that.
If he was on a good team, he'd be the backup. Come on.
Oh wow, hard, hard. Well, I can't believe the Titans won that game. Do you see them having a chance against the Ravens next week?
No,
I don't either.
absolutely not.
I mean, it's just if you can scheme up defensively anything to slow down.
If
Lamar Jackson.
that game is close, it's because the Ravens played bad.
I agree with you 100%.
There's no doubt. And Harbaugh tried to do something stupid.
Right. Yeah. But I mean, for the most part,
No. He's better than the other guy.
Julian Edelman drops a pass. 3rd down.
Okay.
A lot of people think that's the end of the Patriots era.
I don't know.
I disagree completely, but I want your opinion.
You got like if Robert Kraft doesn't think that Bill Belichick is talking to the New York Giants right now, he's crazy.
Do you really think that?
Yes.
Why?
Because
I don't believe it because I don't
what
think you can
else does
talk
he
to the
need to
Giants.
accomplish in his career? What else?
Well, let me ask you this. Though.
There's no reason.
It's not legal. You can't technically talk to him.
I know, but you know.
It's like the NBA. He's like having
Let's
conversations.
let's just say Robert Kraft okayed it. Like you've got to start preparing to rebuild your dynasty if you're Robert Kraft.
But you're still making the play. It's not like they're the Golden State Warriors right now and they're 5-39.
Well, the next move then, in order for the Patriots to stay, they need to make Bill Belichick the highest paid coach over the next 10 years.
Do you think it's about money?
It's about like Bill Belichick has done everything that you can do in
Yes.
New England.
I get what you're saying. So you
Right? The only emptiness in his coaching career
Yeah.
is not becoming the head coach of the New York Giants 1 week and 7 days or 1 week and 5 days after he said yes to the Cleveland Browns.
Is that a known fact?
I mean, when
Is
you
this-
watch the documentary, The Two Bills, and Belichick is in Giant Stadium looking at the Super Bowl trophies, and he visits the old film room,
Yes.
and he starts tearing up. He
Yes.
doesn't tear up when he goes and visits the Browns.
Right. Well, yeah.
He tears up in New York because
Browns fired
that's
him.
in New York. That's where he believed he could be in the NFL forever.
I understand what you're saying.
So why wouldn't you go make the Giants great again? And like, what better cherry on top to a great career for that guy?
I want more than anything for that to happen. I just right now what I hear is Giants fanhood over logical thought.
I don't know, man. I think I just made a pretty good argument. And if the Maras and the Tishes were listening, I hope they are. They should call 609-807-2492. And if they need me there on the initial pitch to Bill, I will be there.
Does he bring Tom Brady with him?
No. Tom Brady's retiring.
Do you think that?
Nah, I don't.
No, I don't understand why you say things sometimes. Anyone can chime in, 609-807-2492. Chime in on the Facebook. I know Mr. John Lynch is super pumped about the Kyle Rudolph because it's a Notre Dame football alum.
Oh, yeah, good call.
Yeah, good call on the Notre Dame football alum.
Yeah.
All right, continuing around the NFL. What?
Can I tell you my funny one?
Yes.
So I am a believer that the Buffalo Bills should have been awarded a touchdown on that kickoff.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
So why? Because he didn't take a knee, and that's the rule.
So the call on the field was touchdown.
Right.
And there was no official review to overturn it. That's wrong.
Right. Yeah. Who were the guys in the black jackets that
And
ran on
and
the
why
field?
can't they make calls at any other point of the
point
game?
in the year? Who are those people?
They just appeared. This is the first time they've ever been there.
I was sitting watching.
They wear
the game.
invisibility
I'm like,
cloaks.
who are these dudes running on the field that can all of a sudden now change the call?
So you put your arms out. That means you're not catching the ball.
Right.
Okay. But then you catch the ball. If you watch, the referee acted appropriately.
Right. He didn't do anything.
He said, "Yo, you got to take a knee."
Right.
He literally told the guy, "You got to take a knee." Then he threw the ball, and then he called a touchdown.
Yeah. And
Why wasn't that play reviewable? It was a scoring play.
Because this is a fair catch signal with
Yeah,
the hands.
but you don't.
waved
Yeah,
above
but
the
it's
head.
kickoff. But like I'm telling you, that's
No,
a
you can fair
scoring
catch kickoff.
Yeah, fair, but fair catch. But there was no official review. It was a scoring play.
It was just these men in black that literally came on the field.
I'm just saying.
Put
I mean,
the silver thing up, and we're like, you don't remember this.
listen, if
happening.
I'm the Bills, I mean, I might be challenging the challenge.
So you're saying you'd put the game under protest?
I mean, if I lost, maybe.
Well, I did think it was a touchdown.
It is.
What I think is going to happen now, as what always happens in the NFL, because they're very reactionary, right?
Was it the
probably
Bills that should have got the touchdown?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Well, that changes the game. I mean,
don't-
that makes it 19 nothing.
I mean, I don't think anyone's talking about it today. I think I'm the only person.
I mean, it's kind of crazy though if you think about it, because like, what is the rule? Is the rule that you have to take a knee?
The rule is
the
what
rule that
was
you-
called. Everyone just felt bad for the guy.
Right. But and I heard what like they said on the commentators on air were like, common sense prevails, and these guys do this all the time. I'm like, yeah, well that doesn't make it right though.
But they don't, though. I've never not seen one person not take a
Take a
knee if
knee?
they catch the ball. Ever.
Well, I haven't seen enough guys catch the ball in the end
Well,
zone
yeah, exactly.
and paid attention to realize what happens or doesn't.
But seriously, but that's why there's the rule. And no, I mean, if it wasn't, I mean, like, why not? Like,
I agree. And
I
also,
can't believe it's not even a thing.
besides that play, the
Like, you're
Bills
going to complain about, like, a half forearm check in the end zone if you're against
against the
but,
Vikings
I mean,
and the
this
Saints. Yeah, I feel you.
I can't. I just.
And at the end of the day, too, that play or not that play, the Bills should have won that football game. The Houston Texans had no business winning that game. They had
Dude.
0 points for
Dude,
the first 35
I
minutes.
don't understand. You come into you come into the game. You've got a game plan. You're going to run the ball. You give it to the Singletary guy.
right.
You control an offense.
Right.
And you go 5 wide for the entire
I know.
drive. And by the way, your first play and like your third play is sweep to the right
Yep.
with your court with Josh Allen. Dude got buried.
Yeah, he did.
And then you expect him to throw the ball 80 yards over
Yeah.
7 plays down
Yeah.
the rest of the field?
Yeah, I agree, 100%.
What are you doing to
And
this
did you
guy?
see Josh Allen pitch the ball at the middle in the like the middle of the field?
Like, I just don't get it. Like, it's like you want to lose the game.
Yeah, listen. Here's the deal. They played to not lose in the second half.
Yeah, it's brutal.
And as the cliche goes, you always play to win. You don't play to not lose.
Young team.
They played to not lose.
Young team.
But is it though? Because I mean, I know that was Josh Allen's first start, but like 2 years ago they were in the playoffs
young,
with the same coach.
decision makers. Young. I feel like they're still young.
So you'll give them the benefit.
Oh,
of the
you know
doubt.
what? You know what? Fine. Then they're not young. You're right. My opinion of their decision making is
It's
of
young.
a youthful,
Very
like,
immature.
Exactly.
Opinion making.
Yeah, no doubt.
Well, I was saying this is a hot take maybe for you, but I was saying that if the Texans lost that game, Bill O'Brien was getting fired.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you?
Because I just think
He's no better than the first round every year.
Did you see the stat last year in the playoffs and this year in the playoffs? In the first half, they had 0 points. Like that's inexcusable.
No, it's not good.
Like you have
It's bad preparation.
uber talented offense. You should not be scoring 0 points in both halves.
It took you to the third quarter to realize that you should be running DeAndre Hopkins across the field
Right.
instead of down the field.
Right.
Like, come on.
Like how do we have to wait till halftime to make that adjustment?
It's so dumb.
It makes no sense to me. Listen, Ruben, You're going to tee up the commercial here, all right? We're going to come back on the other side of this break. We'll pay some bills here real quick. We're going to get into what the fans said on Instagram, which I love, okay, because a lot of it has to do with the NFL, some coaching vacancies, some stuff about Tom Brady, so we have a lot more to get into, okay? Remember, it's 609-807-2492 if you want to get in on this. Oh, and of course, Carson Wentz. We haven't gotten to that as well.
Exciting. Well,
So-
no, that's not.
Yeah. We're moving on. Let's go, Rube. To become a better leader, whether that's in business, in sports, or in life, and you haven't found a book yet to help you get to that game-changing aha moment, well, we have the book for you. Tighten the Lug Nuts, the principles of balanced leadership. Tighten the Lug Nuts will help you get to that game-changing leadership moment. Available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and iBooks, or at 360managementservices.com. That's the number 360managementservices.com. Pick up your copy today and start changing your leadership styles. All right. Welcome back into the Rome Show here on January 6, 2020 on HamiltonRadio.net, Channel 2, the Hamilton Radio app, Facebook.com/The Rome Show 1. It is 7:31 here at Hamilton Radio. I'm Andrew Romanella. That's Rocky Romanella. You can get at us on the Facebook, on the Twitter, at Wide World of Rome, or call the phone line 609-807-2492. I just got to give you props, Ruben. That cut timing for the commercial was legitimately perfect.
No, it was really impressive.
You know?
Your chemistry is really coming out tonight.
Yeah, it's happening. Like when we had to come back from a comment Rocky made, and then Ruben saved us.
Big save. Bailed me out of a jam there.
Big time save from Ruben. That's why we love our producer, Ruben, here at Hamilton Radio. Support Hamilton Radio. Support the Rome Show. Get a sponsorship. A lot of cool things that you can sponsor.
Sponsored by Hat.
That's a little aggressive.
But that'd be sweet.
However, I did talk to our contact that got us Colt Tracy, and I do believe that jersey.
Is our jersey coming?
Yeah.
Nice.
Go back on the last Rome Show. I believe it was December 23rd, Monday. We had Colt Tracy on, soon-to-be kicker for the Seattle Dragons in the XFL, former kicker at LSU and Assumption College. Cole's a great interview. Awesome interview.
Yeah, it was fun.
But he also said he's going to send us his XFL signed jersey, so hopefully that'll be hanging in this studio
I'm
soon.
excited for that.
That would fire me up. All right, listen, here's the deal. I got my phone out, okay? My, by the way, community, just so you know, my phone that is an iPhone. So I have
Congratulations,
blue bubbles. And before I tell you this, okay, I saved this for you. I didn't tell you I was going to say this on air because I love doing stuff like this. And it's my show, so I can do that. How do people really realize so quickly that you have an iPhone? Like, I spent, 3 years, let's say, with green bubbles, okay? You don't even text people. Like, I one of my recruits that's coming to school next year, I haven't texted him in the year 2020 or since I've gotten the iPhone. And he starts the text message off with, "Hey, coach, saw you have an iPhone." I'm like, literally.
I think you get alerted when you make your face at a cartoon. That's what happens.
It's like, do you want this person to see the face?
Yeah.
Those
do
are
you want this-
hilarious, by the way.
I still haven't done mine.
20 people I counted. I went back on my texts and counted 20 different people over the course of the last 3 weeks or 2 weeks or whatever it is have made mention to me having an iPhone.
That's why the
That is
community,
a Romalytic for you.
That's why the community is so strong. Everyone in the
funny.
world gets a ping like, "Hey, Andrew's got one."
yeah. It's
Send him a note. Give him a pat on the ass. Hey, welcome
Yeah.
to the club.
Go,
Welcome to
and
the
then
club.
text him and then like the message. 'Cause
Yeah,
that's really
exactly.
how you do it. I love that stuff, by the
I
way.
mean, that's a great culture piece.
So I'm back. I'm in the iPhone world. So let me face unlock my iPhone. There you go.
Face ID 's sweet.
Face ID
actually,
is
I
very
actually
cool.
really like Face ID.
I live my life with Finger ID for the last few years. Okay, so the first one we're going to start with from the fans, all right, is the Dallas Cowboys. Now, the question was at the time last night, who will be the next Dallas Cowboys head coach? This time, does that say phone call up there, Mr. Rubin? It does. All right, before we get into the Dallas Cowboys, Rock, let's take the phone calls. Does that sound like a good idea?
Sounds like a great
Let's take
idea.
the phone call. Caller, you are on the Rome Show. Give me your name and why you're calling.
It's your favorite Philadelphian, Romo.
Mr. McCrossin, Assistant Building Manager of the Fairleigh Dickinson University. How are you, sir?
Doing good. How are you, Romo?
I'm doing fantastic. We were just diving into some fan write-ins, Mr. McCrossin, so you called at the right time. And I know I saw you today, and I know you were a little down because your Eagles lost. I want to give the floor to you and just let us know how you're doing after that weekend.
Dude, I mean, you know, you look at this from our starting lineup the first week, we're down, I think it was like 13 or 14 guys. So, to end up in the playoffs and once again having to rely on a backup quarterback, I think we did pretty well. I mean, we threw we threw a 40-year-old man out there who hadn't played in a postseason game ever, and he did decently. As he said, if it was 10 years ago, he would have scored a touchdown. He would have ran right through that line.
Yeah, you're right. It's a great point.
Yeah, it looked like he was running in cement out there.
So let me ask you this question, Steve, because here's my concern. And I got some pushback from my brother-in-law on this one because I said that Carson Wentz did not finish the full season because the fact of the matter is he didn't. And I know that it's not necessarily his fault. I get that. But does it not concern you as an Eagles fan at all that your quarterback, your franchise quarterback, that's a dude and can probably win you a Super Bowl if he's always in the game, is consistently getting hurt every year, no matter how it happens?
I mean, does it concern? Yeah, a little bit. I mean, you look at it as we hope every year it's like, oh, this is the year, and then, it's not. But, it just takes, all it takes is that one time, he's gone through pretty much every kind of injury you can think of. So, I mean, why not have a perfect season next year? Why not have him play however many games the NFL wants to play next year, 17 regular game schedule plus playoffs? Why not?
This is true fanship right here. This is true fanship. You've got a guy here who, even in the face of just a tough morning, you had a tough loss versus a tough opponent, and he's sitting here and he's proud. He's a proud fan.
Positive.
He doesn't throw him in the gutter.
No, he doesn't.
Doesn't throw him in the gutter. He probably posted the. I saw on Instagram last night a lot of Eagles fan posting, "We still love you. Like, thanks for fighting till the end." Like, this is the kind of fan you want to model yourself after right here. Mr. McClawson, we appreciate your fanhood.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you guys.
Stevie, we appreciate you calling in. What do you got? What's off your Rome today?
What's up?
What's off your dome
Sorry.
today? I guess I should call it dome for other people. It's my Rome.
First, you got to look at all the coaching hires. Mike McCarthy just the Dallas Cowboys staying over at Jerry Jones's house over the weekend. A little weird, but I guess that's the way they do it in Dallas. So, that's one. And then obviously you got the other coaching hires that are still open. You got the Giants. Who else is still open? The Panthers. Is that it? That's left? That's still open?
I feel like there's one more.
Well, Steve, Rocky believes that Bill Belichick wants back in for the New York Giants.
That's a tough one, though.
I know, right?
I mean, but here's what my thought process is. He goes to New York. You think Brady follows him and mentors?
That's what
Daniel
I said.
Jones?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
And mentors Daniel Jones.
I mean, it's the only place they didn't win. Why not go there?
It's possible. That is a hot take.
I hope he doesn't go there, but
my personal opinion, honestly, Steve, is that Brady and or Belichick, one of the two of them, I don't think wants to be with the other of the two of them.
Trouble in Paradise?
I could see that. Yeah,
maybe. I think that's what it could be, and I think Jason.
Talk about a hot take.
And I think Mike McCarthy is not the right guy in Dallas.
No one's the right guy in Dallas.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
unless
Steve.
your last name's Jones and you're related to Jerry, no one's right in Dallas.
Steve knows.
Steve gets it. That's
Me
why
and
he
Steve
calls
are on the
in
same
radio,
page right
baby.
now. Me and Steve are on the same page about that right now.
This is why he calls in the radio.
Yeah, I mean it's a tough gig. I mean you're kind of you're America's team, but you probably have the biggest. I mean, when was the last time Ezekiel Elliott went through a full training camp without being in Cabo?
That's a great point.
And you got all these guys. Dak Prescott wants $40 million a year. I mean, you're at that point, and then Amari Cooper, your typical Alabama player, doesn't say anything, just does it well on the field. But even he looks like he doesn't even want to be there half the time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, do you pull a Ron Rivera, go in there and take away the ping pong tables and say we're starting from scratch? I don't know.
I mean, that might not be the worst idea.
Take away a ping pong table, get a fine.
Yeah, you play ping pong, you get fined in our locker room.
Yeah, I don't like that.
I mean, at the end of the day, though, isn't that kind of what you have to do? I mean,
not anymore.
Maybe it's not taking away the ping pong table, but you have to
show
change
up
something.
and you go have fun playing football, and you don't make them. You show up and go let them play some football, throw some nice let them go deep. like on the first play of the game. Like, go play some football. Like, don't put me in an analytics type atmosphere. Like, let me go be an athlete. Let me go play the game. Like, that's probably why Pete Carroll and Russell. That's why Russell Wilson does so well, because Russell Wilson, he says hike and is allowed to go be an athlete. It's like, here's your play, go make it.
Yes.
Like, yeah, you know what? It's every other coach last night would have run the ball, went 3 and out, punted, and given the Eagles 45 seconds.
Yes.
Every other team in the country.
Yeah.
No, why don't you go throw a 40-yard fly pattern and win us the game?
Win the game.
Right? That's what Dak needs. That's what the Cowboys. That's what every team with young talent, young quarterback needs.
You're right.
There you go. There's your straight analytics.
Stevie, what else you got for us before you get off the Rome show today?
I got Urban Meyer going to the Browns.
Wow.
Really? Really? The
I mean,
Browns?
if you think about it systematically from his time at Ohio State to his time to if the Browns were picked. You have a similar quarterback as, Braxton Miller, Cardell Jones. I mean, maybe not as fully athletic as Baker Mayfield's, maybe not as fully athletic, but, I mean, he's got similar attributes. And then on top of that, too, you got a running back in Nick Chubb, who, very similar to all the great running backs that have come out of Ohio State, wide receiver core is better than what they had at Ohio State. I could see that working. And then on top of that, too, you look at all the free agents that are probably going to be coming about, and some of these top players in the NFL are Ohio State guys who love Urban Meyer, who would love to play for him again.
I mean, it makes sense. I don't know. Do you think Urban Meyer's done with college football?
Yes.
Really?
To your point about Bill Belichick before, and then Steve, I want your answer to that too. To your point about Bill Belichick before, though, hasn't he done everything he needs to do in college football?
Except
Urban Meyer?
Except save the Pac-12.
Yeah, because you think he.
Yeah, I think Urban Meyer's done everything he can. I mean, you won multiple national championships at different schools, at multiple schools.
Agreed.
You at a young age too. He's. You're at Nick Saban's age, where that's the same thing. How many more years does he have?
Right. And does he want to try take another crack at the NFL and then leave the Dolphins high and dry to be the best coach in college football history?
Get him Drew Brees and he stays.
Oh my God.
Get him Drew Brees and then he stays.
You're right.
Very simple.
You're right.
Yeah, and think about too, when Urban Meyer took over, it wasn't. Not that it was it wasn't a good look, but wasn't Ohio State going through some problems before he took over anyway, and he changed the whole face of that again? He
did. It was almost like the reverse effect of what he did in Florida.
No coach will be successful in Cleveland until they get rid of Odell Beckham Jr., so it doesn't matter.
Facts. That's fair.
I think from a coaching standpoint, the NFC East has done say what you want about McCarthy and Jones, say what you want about Ron Rivera, but the NFC East got better with both hires.
I agree.
Both coaches that have been to the Super Bowl, right? Both coaches with a good winning history for the most part. They've both had quarterbacks that have led their team really well. So, you've got to think that the NFC East got better in those two positions. And if I'm the New York Giants, and I am not paying attention, and I bring a rookie head coach into the fold, and I'm not prepared to pay more for my coordinators than I am for the head coach, then are you really prepared to compete in the NFC East?
Agreed, 100%.
I don't know.
And I think the coordinators matter so much. So much. It's huge. Steve, you got anything on that before you go?
No, that's pretty much it, yeah.
Listen, dude.
And
honestly,
obviously,
you need to come in the studio.
Win a national championship.
Oh.
What is that?
Listen, Steve, what are you doing next Monday?
I have work. I'm working in the rec center.
Oh, man. Well, you can call in, but I really wanted you in studio to break down the national championship on Monday. All right.
If I was closer, Romo, I'd be there.
Here's what we're going to do, okay? You're going to put the little sign up on the rec center window where it says, be back in 15 or whatever, and have it say radio show interview. And then you're going to get 5 minutes, all right, Steve? You're going to get 5 minutes next show It's going to be the Stephen McCrossan report. All right, and you're going to break it down for the people getting ready for the national championship game, which will succeed? Is that what happens after, right? Succeed? I don't know. Come after our radio show. How's that sound?
Yeah, we'll succeed.
We'll talk about this tomorrow.
Oh, this
we'll
is
talk
exciting.
more in detail.
This is exciting. Mr. McCrossan, we appreciate you always.
Thanks for coming on,
The
Steve.
lead Romo Sapien. Thank you, sir.
No problem, guys. Have a good one.
You too, babe. He's right about McCarthy.
No, he's not. No, he's 100% right.
And
yeah.
it's a little weird. I didn't know that he slept over at Jerry Jones'
Nah, he brought something new to my attention too.
that
Something
is-
new. Do you
that
think
is-
they went hunting, or like they did some Texas stuff, like
Mike McCarthy and
Jerry Jones.
and Jerry Jones.
like they shot guns in his backyard.
Yeah, they went.
You know?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, fly fishing.
Because I thought it was kind of interesting that like Jason Garrett didn't officially lose the job until like yesterday.
Yeah, what is that?
And
I was
Mike
like, why is it-
McCarthy gets hired today.
I thought my internet was malfunctioning. It's like, oh
Yeah.
my god, I went back 3 days.
Yeah, it was strange, very strange. So, all right, well, Steve called at the right time because then he broke down Mike McCarthy for us.
Yeah, so we can move on.
So, and it doesn't matter what the fans said because Mike McCarthy already got hired for the Cowboys. So,
yeah.
you alluded.
Thanks for participating, though.
And by the way, we tell it all the time. I mean, Steven's the prime example. 609-807-2492. Call in.
The problem is that his analysis is so on point.
It is. Steve's good, man.
Yeah,
Steve's
it's
good.
got to be intimidating to other callers.
It is. As good of an assistant building manager he is, and lacrosse coach is as good as he is a caller. He might have a career in calling on the radio. Fantastic.
He could be on the radio.
Who do the Giants choose as their next head coach? We know your opinion. Okay, I'm going to give you the fans. I'm just going to read them off.
Yeah,
okay?
let's hear him.
Jason Garrett,
No,
Matt Rule,
maybe,
they F it up again.
possibly.
Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
Wow, that's you. Jason Garrett again.
No,
Matt Rule again.
maybe.
Wow, and another Bill Belichick, not you, which is surprising to me because I thought you'd be the only person that said that.
Listen, it's not out of the question.
I think it's Matt Rule. He's got Giants ties. He's won a Super Bowl there. I think it was Chris Snee might have came out recently. And
he was
like,
there. He was there for the 2011 Super Bowl.
Yeah,
Are you
Chris-
sure he wasn't there for the year after?
He was like the assistant offensive line coach, I think. I feel like he was.
He might have missed it by a year.
Even if he did, he's still been there.
Yes,
And the Giants love people that are associated with the Giants. That's just facts.
I know.
And I feel like being a guy coming from college, he's going to hire the coordinators that you're talking about because he needs to get reacclimated with the NFL.
I just don't know why you're not taking more pride in the Giants' name.
What do you mean?
Dude, you're the New York Giants. You're a franchise that has roots in the birth of the NFL.
Great.
Like, you're telling me that you're not good enough to go bring Brian Billick out of retirement. Go bring Bill Cowher out of retirement. Go get. I'm not
that
saying
smart.
No, I'm not
Why
saying
is
it's
that
smart. I'm not
smart?
saying it's smart or not. But like to go after like
Why?
the
well,
young, like why do we want a first year NFL head coach?
I don't know, but I'm just. I don't know either way.
It doesn't make any
I just.
sense.
I
Unless the theory,
You're so mad about it.
unless the theory is that we're cutting edge and we know something and we're seeing a trend that the NFL is about to turn over.
We are
right?
seeing a trend.
Right, and it's possible. The NFL, we named what 7 quarterbacks that are at the end of their career.
Yep.
Right, so they're going to turn over. You've got another probably 5 to 10 who are about to flounder out because they're just not going to hack it.
How long is Andy
Right, like
Reid
Mariota's
right?
done. Mariota's done.
What
right?
happens with Jameis Winston?
Wentz and Jameis might be done. Well, Jameis
Wentz
is not
done.
Yeah, but neither is Jameis.
Yeah, but
30 for 30, baby.
you're-
Gotta love it.
You're going down a rabbit hole.
Anyways, are we? Listen, I'm just not going to be the guy. If we hire Matt Rule, I'm just not going to be the guy who's overly excited.
I understand, and that is fair.
I'm not because I'm not.
But I just want to tell
probably-
you this.
yeah.
And I don't know if I'm the first person telling you this, but I don't think it matters anymore that you're the New York Giants.
Yes,
I don't
it
think
does.
anyone cares that they're the New York Knicks. Anyone cares that they're the New York Giants. I don't think anyone cares
because they've operated like that over the course of the last 8 years is why they can't win a game.
But the Knicks, like the only team I feel like that still stands for is the Rangers because hockey is a tradition that appreciates the Rangers being an original 16.
Steelers? How about the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Yeah, but
They have that same cultish.
because they win. And they do the right thing. They've had 4 head coaches in their organization's history.
That's what I'm saying. That's what we should be.
No, but that's what you were.
No, and we made a mistake. We have to get back to that.
And it's been almost 10 years.
Yeah.
So
why do
can't-
you want to keep going down that
No,
path? It doesn't work.
I feel you
Doesn't work.
on that, right? I don't disagree with you on that. But
I
I
sit in the stands every
Right, I know you do. You're rooted in this. I'm rooted in this. I'm at the stadium. I understand it. I care. Well, that's my thing. I think it's going to be Rule. And I don't think that's a bad hire. I don't.
I'm not saying
because he's got
it's gonna
NFL
be.
experience. If he didn't have any NFL experience, and he
doesn't have a head coaching experience
in the NFL, I understand that. I agree with you. Okay, moving on from the fans, because the Giants one is so interesting, and so much rides on it. And you're right, because at the end of the day, though, they are the Giants. And there's an expectation, like the Yankees, like the Steelers, like the Chicago Blackhawks in the NHL for a really long time. Your fan base expects you to win. And at some point, we got to get back to that as a Giants fan base. So, next one. We've talked about this a little bit, but I want to tell you what the fans think. What will Tom Brady do next year? Okay, what's his future? Return to the Patriots. 24 people voted yes. 13 people voted plays for another team. And 16 people voted he retires. I'm in the camp of he plays for another team.
I don't know if Tom Brady's that way.
Really?
I think he would retire first.
Really?
I mean,
You would think he wants to spend his whole career as a Patriot? I would, yeah, if I'm him.
I would think,
But I'm not him.
I think Brady's a
I don't
little.
even know
Bit,
what that feels like.
I think Brady's a little bit of a football historian. Like he saw what Joe Montana looked like on the Chiefs.
Right, it
Like,
looks
does he
stupid.
want that?
Brett Favre looked terrible as a Jet.
Or a Viking?
But he did make it to a championship game as a Viking,
He did.
which was impressive. But you're right.
But
Does he
Brett-
care?
but-
What does he put? Like, how much does he weigh that?
But if Aaron
his
Rodgers wasn't sitting on the bench, Brett Favre would have stayed with the Packers.
Right.
And the Patriots don't have that.
Right, 100%.
So why would he leave?
Okay, that's a fair point. I'm curious because something has to happen because he is a free agent, so something needs to happen. Let me Face ID to get back into my phone. If you Face ID wrong, does it not let you back in?
I mean, sometimes it doesn't read your face.
So it can lock you out, though.
No, then you just put your code in.
And then that's why you have both. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Will Carson Wentz play a full season? Now, I'm going to preface this by saying, and I said this earlier in the show, our brother-in-law Sean got on me because he said he played a full year this year, and I wrote back 98.5%.
No, he didn't finish the game.
Because he did not finish the full year. So, will he? 36 people of 50 that voted said no.
So I will take fanship out
Okay.
and say if you just look at the trend, the answer is no.
Right. Because every year
He's
he
gotten hurt.
sustains an injury.
That's right.
Whether it is, and I've heard the argument, well, he didn't do this to himself. Well, listen, whether it was a penalty or not, and I do think it was a penalty. They didn't call it a penalty. And I explained this to Rocky before the show. Just go to Twitter if you want to see it and type in Carson Wentz hit, and you'll be able to see it. All right, it looks worse slowed down. Always does look worse slowed down. But I do think since there's helmet-to-helmet contact, the way the rule is stated, it should have been a 15-yard penalty. It wasn't.
Listen, Jadeveon Clowney wanted to hit Carson Wentz.
Yes, that's a
He
fact.
went to hit Carson Wentz. He didn't try and give him a concussion.
Right, 100%. That was just a byproduct
That's
of
right.
football being football.
That's right. He was giving him a hit because he just needed him to know, like, hey, you're getting hit tonight.
Yes. But I agree with you. Based on the trend, I don't know if it's going to happen either.
I know. And listen, I think, if
It's
Carson
not
Wentz,
me- it's not being
Wentz
mean to him either.
Dude, if Carson
It's
Wentz
facts.
played for any other team, I'd probably compliment him more.
I know you would. That's the crazy thing. That is when we come back to the fanhood over the, actual logical thought. Last question. This is my favorite one, honestly, of the year. Get it? Okay. In
Oh, I do get it.
2020, this will happen in sports. First one, Mets win the World Series. I am on board for that.
Same. I thought about writing that one.
From your lips to God ears, Stephen M. Hoey, from your lips to God ears. You will continue doing these polls. That is facts.
True.
That is absolutely facts. Simone Biles will sweep the gold medals this summer. Wow, bold statement.
It's her third Olympics.
Summer
So,
Olympics. She's a boss lady. She really is.
I think it's her third Olympics.
I believe you're right. And she's so good. And you, of all people, respect the gymnastics more than most because you're good at it.
That's. I mean, listen.
You were good at it.
And
Are you still good at it?
I don't think I was ever that good, but I mean, I did. I tried.
We'll go to the tape.
Well, all I know is that Simone Biles on her third Olympics. So if she doesn't do it, she's not coming back.
Fair.
Or she might come back, but just not in that same role.
I got to look and see how many events she's in, but I think it could happen because she is that good. Ruben, our fantastic producer, writes up on the screen, I'd like to see the Mets versus the Cubs. I'm guessing that would be in the NLCS to go to the World Series, Rube. That'd be a good rematch because the Mets beat the Cubs. They swept them to go to the World Series in 2015.
That's right.
Joe Madden's first year with the Cubbies. Bill Belichick will coach the Giants. Another one.
That wasn't me either.
Wow, it wasn't you either.
No.
Bill Bell, another Giants fan, Kate MC07.
I heard of her.
Wrote that in.
I've heard of that one.
U.S. will dominate the Summer Olympics in Tokyo.
Yeah.
A lot of love for the Olympics tonight.
USA all the way.
I love it. A Canadian team will win the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
I love that prediction.
Listen, it hasn't happened in a long time.
Who's got the edge there?
Only Toronto on the East. Montreal might sneak in, but I don't think so. But you've got Vancouver, who has a really good team.
They're good, yeah.
Calgary has a good team.
Yep. And some good young talent on those teams.
Calgary has a good team. And the Edmonton Oilers are a pretty good team.
Newsflash.
Yes.
Check out the Canadian hockey going on.
I
in the
know.
NHL.
I know.
Yankees will win the World Series.
They might come close.
Tom Brady will resign with the Pats. Will re-sign, with the Pats, and they will acquire some serious help, i.e. Hunter Henry, A.J. Brown. Wow. That is a bold prediction.
I don't think that the Patriots have ever really had that type of an offseason.
Nope.
And that's not their model.
No.
So I could see Tom Brady re-signing, but I don't see them doing anything spectacular like that in the offseason.
Nope, me neither. And the last one, this is my favorite one of all time. Cespedes will take on a kangaroo and will dislocate his shoulder. I mean, that's a high possibility.
Listen, just like Carson Wentz, the trend says that will happen.
That will happen. So we'll look out for the Kangaroos. Yoenis Cespedes, we need you for the Mets this season. Romalytics for you today, real quick. Joe Burrow stats. Next week, we're going to break down the college football playoffs. We wanted to get you ready for it this week. And I wanted to remind you how good Joe Burrows is. So your Romalytics today. Did you know Joe Burrow completed 77% of his passes this season? That was good for 55 touchdowns, only 6 interceptions, and over 5,000 yards. He received the most first base votes of all time in the Heisman Trophy at 841, and was the most percentage named on a ballot ever all time at 95.5%. Joe Burrows, you are the man. We will break it down next week on January 13th of The Rome Show. I'm Andrew Romanella. That's Rocky Romanella. Get us on Twitter at The Wide World of Rome, Facebook, The Rome Show 1. Thank you, Romo Sapiens, for tuning in. Hamilton Radio. Ruben, you're the man. We are out.
That was another good one.
That was a great one. Let's go. A lot of random. Tom Henry.
You be the judge. Do this look like work to you? Nah, looking at the lights like it's all